Greetings, Aquarius. This is Ron from Terror of the Twin Sun. Welcome to my channel. I shall be pulling from the 1890 deck primarily for you. Actually, you know what? I'm going to switch decks. Switch to my alternate 1890 deck. And we are dealing with the energy of fixed air. That is the Aquarius aspect, the Aquarius placement, co-rulership of Saturn, as well as the co-ruler Uranus. So the three portals are designed to essentially bring forward a narrative, and you can take what you will of any of the three and combine them as you wish. And this is for the month of August 2020, mid-August 2020. Okay, let's do it. The first portal is now opening. There's a shift here, and you seem to be in a place of really operating at a level that has to do with the closing of a cycle as well. Yes, definitely a closing of a cycle, switching over from the energy of air to fire. Fixed air especially. This is your card here, King of Swords in the reverse. Homme Marchand, which has to do with essentially something angry. And if this is a situation here that has to do with the realm of your thoughts as well as your principles, there's something that's been shaken up, and now you are using a bit of your energy in order to reassess a sense of space, reassess something that was lost, to gain back some mental clarity. But the advice is to be very careful with this energy, considering that you may be overwhelmed with burden as well as a great deal of toxicity around you. There's something about your stability as well as your thoughts that are being challenged at the moment, and that's okay. Just know that in the future there's an ability for you to actually revamp or restart something of the cycle of what you are trying to create or bring forward, okay? Because the Magician is here in the reverse, there is a possibility that, once again, this space, or at least the connection between the ether and the grounded self, the grounded reality that is your world, no longer is there something that you can intellectualize. Something about your philosophy is changing for the better, and that is a good thing. There is a sense that someone or something has betrayed you, or perhaps there is something about the end of a paradigm or something that you once believed in, and trying to reform that or restructure it in some sort of way. You have all, excuse me, I don't mean to laugh, but you have um, all the tens here. Ten of Pentacles, Ten of Swords on the crown, as well as down below, deep down within yourself, there's a Ten of Cups in the reverse, as well as the of Rods. There is an element of denial here, okay? And I don't mean to force you into thinking of anything and that is not of your highest sort of righteousness. But there's an element of disassociation as well as denial when it comes to a certain ending that has to do with your stability as well as your thoughts as well as what you so feel fulfilled with. There's a sense that there's been a great burden when it comes to this, but luckily because you have four tens, that is giving you a sense of structure, and it is also helping you to understand or relieve a structure that has already achieved so much stress or duress over time. Something about you also is trying to rework the method, and you're looking to the past in order to restructure how this all unfolded, how it could have been prevented. But the thing is that the shift is inevitable as well. There's something that you should try maybe to let go of certain expectations when it comes to the penchant card here, which is the Page of Cups in the reverse. Something as like you can't offer into the future until you close off the past this year, as well as you're trying to revisit the past with the King of Pentacles, moving backwards away from the ten of the ten of excuse me, the ten of Pentacles in the reverse. Okay. And not only that, there's a sort of trine or a complementary sort of aspect that helps you learn the lesson of the chaos that may have ensued here. And the thing is that I think there's either you're dealing with a Gemini, or perhaps there's something about you that is trying to understand more of the elemental base drives, base elements that force you into certain movements throughout space, throughout the ether. And it's really important for you to be grounded and also to understand some of the more higher aspects of the situation that is sincerely has come to an end. Um, and there's a great hesitancy of either the person you're dealing with or you to really move away from this without being angry or without being, you know, sort of enraged in some sort of way. The cards are saying to be very gentle with yourself when it comes to this ending. I knew I chose the right deck. I mean, also to be sincere, if you can really really not be detached about what you feel about the situation, to really embrace that and to be authentic to those emotions. If they're there, you should address the fact that you are a water bearer. You carry the water. You don't. It's one of your duties to be the vehicle for such a thing. Yes. The second portal is now opening. Okay, there's a situation of love here that in the past felt like it had to be taken care of. There was a great lesson. Now it's sort of shifted. It's something that you desire, but also it's something that has lost its penchant for loveliness in a way. You're dealing here with a karmic situation that goes really, really deep. And unfortunately, it has to do with the north and the south nodes. You're moving towards your north here, but there also is something about that that feels like an illusion, as if you move towards the future, you're actually moving towards the past, and that's what crowns you here. There is something that has to do with it has to do with the essential connection between the north and the south nodes. I'm sorry if the audio was so low. Hopefully you're able to hear most of that. Um, But essentially, here there is a connection between Mercury and the Moon, and there are illuminations coming to you that has to do with the axis of where you're coming from deep down in a past life and where you're going to. It has to do with the element of hard work as well as forgetfulness, or perhaps the ability to be completely detached, um, yet still understand the motivations of where you stand. Understanding that is really important because there's something about um, you trying to keep track of, say, karmic accounts, or you trying to keep track of, say, the destiny you so desire, that is causing a great deal of ambition as well as drive, and you're trying to work hard on something, but at the same time, because there's so much information coming in through your dome, your head space is essentially being a bit corrupted with some of the information that you may not be filtering. In terms of the actual linearity of time, or the linearity of certain timelines, and it's important for you to be grounded. When it comes to this, it seems like there's a connection here that was supposed to transform in some sort of way, but something ended, or something had to. There was a bit of fighting between two opposing parties as well. There is also a great deal of struggling, and because of such, a kind of burnout and a feeling of indecision when it comes to the deep down desire that is like sort of locking you two together. The devil's energy is here, but it doesn't have to be. That's how I see the Two of Cups in reverse in this respect. There is like an etheric cord that ties you two together, and it is through a type of attentiveness. Also, there's some sort of ego um, that is tied to the energy of desire, as well as the unfinished business from the past, with Argent and Saturn here are strong. So the nodes are strong, as well as Saturn. This is definitely a karmic lesson about the ties of love that defy the test of time, as well the need to essentially address and become strong from it. Because of such, there's a lot of tension between the connection between Sun and Moon, and as such, masculine and feminine are divided, and there's difficulty in actually sort of celebrating this Two of Cups. So you might just go ahead and do what Aquarius does best, which is essentially pour out those cups into the earth in order to fertilize and bring water to the earth, okay? Bring water to the energy of Saturn. So there's, in that dry spell, this is like a dry spell that has to do with a great karmic lesson, and there's an ability for you to essentially, yes, um, nurture it in some sort of way, but then from the 6 to the 8, there is some sort of movement, a very strong desire to address why things were so sloppy and why the downloads are coming now. Very strong, because Moon and Mercury here, with this the North Node and the South Node placements. There's certainly a great deal of an axis here that has to do with clear communication, clear understanding through the energy of Moon and Mercury, through especially the third house communications, as well as the Moon's energy. The mind is essentially triggered by this connection very deeply. But there aren't too many swords, only the Two of Swords here, which is usually the card of peace, usually. But also it's the card of, like, essentially respect in a way. Because of such, there wasn't enough of that. There needed to be some sort of transformation when it comes to the way you guys were communicating. Because of such, The seven is here, and a kind of burnout is here at the soul level. It's kind of a draining read. But yeah, that is the second portal, and we'll move over to the third now, and I'll give advice for you. It seems to me there is a clear story arc here that has to do with some difficulty with something very rooted in your path of life, but also becoming an obstruction, and perhaps you having to revert or change or shift some parts of your mental capacity to understand the connections that defy the ether. And also because the magician was versed in the first portal, something about you has been essentially, um, it's not corrupt, but changed in some sort of way. And you've definitely certainly gone a bit isolated in some respect. Okay. 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 Interesting. The one thing that is missing is the Two of Cups here. In the future, one cup is no longer being offered. So the four is also here. 3, 4, and 5, 2. Okay. The missing elements within this reading is clearly the ability to understand the complexity of emotions here, which are very complex. There's an undertone that you may be dealing with in the third portal that has to do with the understanding and the understatement of certain feelings that are quite polarized: happiness and then sadness, regret and joy. There's just an interplay of these, and then you're sort of in between these in a limbo on the way towards this, like, kind of regret, or perhaps an understanding of heritage, inheritance, some sort of chemical understanding through the energy of detachment here, that is sort of you're trying to negotiate with. The king does not offer the cup because the king knows and is also a bit cold, or perhaps sour, or perhaps super fixed. It's fixed water here, so that's Scorpio energy. High Priestess shows up. There's that freaking North Node, South Node, that South Node there, effectiveness. 9 of Pentacles, as well as the 4 of Swords in the reverse. Okay, so there's a feeling of restlessness when it comes to this connection, whatever it is, and also the 2 of Cups shows up again. So this is a romance story, and I mentioned the 2 showing up here, so it's showing up, so it's the 4 and the 2. The difference between 5 and 3 is 2. So there is a subtractive quality in the past, but it's also on a conscious level, something where you're coming from. Is that hidden love that you may have rejected, but maybe they have rejected also possibility that aspect, whoever they are. At the same time, there is an element of pensiveness or le passant, which has to do with essentially confusion. Scorpio's energy shows up again here, Scorpio's here, as well as Pisces with the High Priestess. So confusion is on the subconscious realm, and deep on the unconscious realm is the 8 of Cups in the reverse, having to do with essentially the revisitation of some cycle of emotional detachment and the return to it. Once again, the 4 shows up, okay? So I'm seeing here that there is a bit of confusion with something that once made you happy now makes you feel a bit sad or low in some sort of way. The cups spilleth over. In the near future, there's a possibility that you would consciously not to add to anything here, because it would lead to nostalgia more than anything, and that's something that you're trying to let go of. But there still is a strong as connection here, and on the higher vibration on your crown, we have the Six of Rods here. Six of Rods usually indicates some sort of movement as well, perhaps a movement away towards a detached sort of effectiveness, a detached sort of like comfort zone that has to do with the South Node where you're coming from. But yeah, I'm seeing it as even though there is love in the situation, there is a possibility that you cannot offer to it anymore, considering that if you did, there would only be nostalgia waiting you or this person. And because of such, the High Priestess is very quiet because she knows the world around is essentially challenging and winding. And also, there's a great deal of Maya or like illusions that have to do with the options of love. But there still is some sort of return here, a return to the energy of the Eight of Cups that was once left behind, either by you or them. Restlessness is on the cards, but you'll find that you can be very economic with your thoughts and also kind of find a sense of. It's saying to look to others, but others won't really. I mean, even if you did, there would be people would try to tell you how they fucked up or how they didn't get what they wanted. It won't even be any good advice for you at all. Um, Balance will come if you look to yourself and understand where your comfort zone is. Um, but yeah, if you invest into this connection, um, and I think you won't, there is a possibility that it would trigger the Six of Cups energy, which is strong, and it's based on a division of three times. Um, so there is a possibility for nostalgia. My God. Okay, well, those three portals were very resonant, and these cards were the right pick for this reading. I'm happy to have worked with you. If you found that resonant, please like. If not, then please dislike. I appreciate your feedback regardless. And also, I'm open for private readings. There won't be an extended for this because I think it's pretty clear. Um, Thank you very much. Bye.